Crypto kids, are we about to get a brand new Bitcoin all-time high? Let's find out. Currently, the price of Bitcoin is trading at $123,600, increasing by the second. We're now literally only $900 away from a brand new Bitcoin all-time high. And today, I'm going to be talking about my perspectives, my analysis, if the CME gap is still relevant, if we should be paying attention to the CME gap. Obviously, we've called this double bottom on Bitcoin perfectly. We said that if Bitcoin is able to create this double bottom, break above the neckline, continue trading a few days above, then I'm going to be expecting the cancellation of the prior double top created, and we head towards new all-time highs. I did say be cautious in the sense of, yes, Bitcoin CME gap is there, but overall positionings were all bullish. I just mentioned that having liquidations below the CME gap is probably an ideal thing to do, but overall I'm net bullish. We had the breakout of the bullish pennants, we had the breakout of the W formation, and everything was looking crystal clear, not only on the short-term chart, but also on the Bitcoin macro chart as we broke above, we kept above the bull and bear market support band. It is October. Q4 is the most bullish period for Bitcoin and crypto, period. So everything was lining up. It was just the CME gap in question. But all I wanted to do to tackle the CME gap was to just reinstate that keeping liquidations below the CME gap is likely the best thing, in my opinion, to do. So congrats, everybody, if you've been bullish on Bitcoin, bullish on Ethereum. We're going to get into some of the altcoins we spoke about on the Telegram community. On the channel, we will talk about all of those altcoins. BNB rocketing to the upside, hitting new all-time highs today. That was another coin that we called here on this channel. So I have a few other altcoins which I think can repeat what BNB has done. But obviously, if you've been following this channel, we've been saying that BNB is going to break above this huge inverse head and shoulder, that this retest we had here was a fantastic opportunity, that I'm not selling until 1,250, and we're sticking exactly to plan. So congrats to all crypto kids that have been profiting from Bitcoin, from BNB. With Ethereum, we've been buying since 1.5, 1.6, 2.2, 3,000, 3,900 recently. So all of our Ethereum positions on weeks are also profitable. Most of our bots on Pinex have been profitable. We've been buying the dip as much as we could. They're going to become even more profitable. So what can I say? I just want to say a massive, massive shout out to every single one of you that have been buying the dip, longing. Congratulations. You all deserve the gains that we are producing right now in the markets. We can see Emperor says, I bought at 109 at 50x leverage. Thank you, Crypto Kid. That's incredible. Amazing. Congratulations. We're going to cover my next observations, what I think will happen next on today's emergency live stream as Bitcoin approaches a brand new all-time high. Currently, we're just like, it's so close. The all-time high is at 124,340. Currently, price is 123,790. We're heading to 123,800. And that would put us only $500, give or take, away from the prior all-time high created. I'm going to explain to you why this pump is happening, explain to you the S&P pump, explain to you why gold is pumping. It's pretty strange, but I'm going to break everything down for you here on today's live stream. If you want to participate in a wonderful trading competition that we're running both on the Moonshow channel and on the CryptoKit channel, you can go to the first link in the description down below to sign up to the trading competition. If you have an existing Weeks account, this button will say register, and the person that has the highest trading volume over the next 24 hours is going to receive completely free 100 USDT into their account. If you do not have a Weeks account, then you can press sign up and create your account in just under a minute's time and start trading. If you want to become number one, then all you have to do is literally open $1,000 position with 10x leverage on anything, and you're going to immediately become first place in this current competition. So first link is in the description. Let's see who can reach the number one spots during this live stream. It will be very cool to see the battle that's going to be taking place on the Weeks exchange on who can win 100 USDT. Let me know in the chat if you guys are expecting all-time high today, and then I will get into obviously my thoughts and opinions over the next few minutes as we continue on with this live stream and break everything down to you. piece by piece. Going through the chats, let's see what the chat thinks. Can we reach a new all-time high? Put 1 in the chat if you think that we can, and put 2 in the chat if you don't think that we're going to be reaching a new all-time high for Bitcoin. Today, I see that Queen is putting banana. I think that's pretty accurate. Mr. L says 1. Cyberhawk says 1. Sab says 1. CK, you always hear, yeah, because we just did a live stream on the Moonshow channel. Crypto Emperor says 2. Mind of Tron says 3. I'm not sure what that is, Mind of Tron, but okay. It looks like the majority are thinking that we're going to reach a new all-time high, and we're going to cover the analysis for you on the macro and the short-term time frame. Starting off with the macro analysis. I talked about this on the Moonshow channel, but I think it's important to mention it to the Crypto Kids community simultaneously. When you look into the macro charts, there is no indication at this moment in time that says, so from a macro perspective, when I'm thinking of my investing over the next 6 months to, no, 6 months is a bit too far, but over the next 2, 3, 4 months, when I look at the chart, this chart, the weekly time frame, it's giving me the picture of the next 2, 3, 4 months on what I should do with my investing. Should I reduce my Bitcoin exposure? Should I sell my crypto? What should I do? This is the charts that I look at when I want to determine what my strategy for the next 2, 3 to 4 months is going to be. If I should be long Bitcoin for the next 2, 3, 4 months, if I should be selling my crypto, what is the plan? This macro chart is giving me insight into making that decision and coming to a conclusion. So when looking at this chart, the weekly time frame, I only have 2 indicators and 2 indicators only. The first one is the bull and bear market support band, which you may have seen on the famous Benjamin Cohen's channel, 123,800. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there, almost there. It's combined of the 20-week simple moving average and the 20, we can just double check that. It's very late at night, so I don't want to mess it up. 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average. That makes up something called the bull and bear market support band, and then you have something called the 54 simple moving average, which is just a 54 simple moving average. All right. Why is this important? It's important for Bitcoin because these 2 indicators specifically have pretty much shaped the destiny of Bitcoin ever since Bitcoin was a thing. You can go to the Genesis cycle and you're going to notice this pattern in every cycle. So pay attention to what I say. Bull market support band keeps the price of Bitcoin up, up, and up, and up, keeps the parabola intact. As soon as you break below the 54 simple moving average and the bull and bear market support band, Bitcoin enters into a bear market. A foreshadow of Bitcoin entering into a bear market is when the 54 simple moving average, the blue line, and the bull and bear market support band come very close to each other. This means that momentum is cooling off and that Bitcoin will likely enter into a bear market phase. Bitcoin now at $123,900. Guys, come on. We're only $400 away from new all-time highs. Come on, guys. Let's destroy the like button. If you think, or if you don't think that Bitcoin is going to hit a new all-time high, destroying the like button, I think, is going to send a positive message to the universe, telling everyone that we should be watching the stream, telling everyone that Bitcoin needs to be reaching a brand new all-time high. Okay, so back to the chart. So it kept the parabola intact, the bull and bear market support band. As soon as those two started coming closer to each other, it indicated that momentum was cooling off. And when you broke below the bull and bear market support band and the 54 simple moving average, you entered into the bear market. Sorry for repeating myself, Queen. I know you watched similar analysis on the Moonshow channel, but just for everybody else, I think it's important to reiterate the importance of this macro chart. In the next cycle, you go into the 2015 to the 2018 cycle, you can see the bull and bear market support band also keeps the parabola intact until you see literally a very similar image right here and right here. It's the exact same image. You break below this triangle, which coincides with the breaking below of the bull and bear market supports and the 54 simple moving average, and a foreshadow of the bull market ending is when these two come close to each other, and then you enter into a bear market. It's an exact photocopy of the cycle prior to it. So the Genesis cycle and the 2015 to 2018 cycle, the ICO bubble, it's exactly the repeats. Then you go into the prior Bitcoin cycle. Prior Bitcoin cycle, you have the COVID crash. Because you have the COVID crash, things change a little bit. It's a black swan event. You see massive amounts of money printing. The global dollar circulation doubles. There is massive amounts of quantitative easing, which makes up approximately 80% of global liquidity, giving everybody stimulus checks. there's so much excess money in the markets, trading becomes a hot topic, so on and so forth. So Bitcoin goes into a massive parabola. It goes up too fast. Because it goes up too fast, this time it's not able to find support on the bull and bear market support band. And it forces a correction to the 54 simple moving average. The 54 simple moving average is strong enough to keep the Bitcoin momentum intact, right? You don't see a crossover between the bull and bear market support band and the 54 simple. So you bounce off into the bull and bear market supports. And in October, you see one final rally to the upside. And as soon as you start crashing, you see the foreshadowing happen. Bitcoin finds resistance on the 54 simple. Instead of finding support, it finds resistance. And then you get knocked into a bear market stage. Okay? In this cycle, things have been a little bit different because obviously we have something called diminishing returns, where every single cycle, Bitcoin is producing less and less returns. In the cycle, the increase has been gradual because institutional capital has been allocating gradually into Bitcoin. With respect to the bull and bear market support band, we've held it pretty well. We have come down from it a few times, notably, right? So this was the first time, second time, third time. Almost all of them found support exactly at the 54 simple moving average, providing you with a secondary backup and pushing the Bitcoin price once more to the upside. Guys, we're getting to now $124,000. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost $300 away from hitting brand new all-time highs. Okay, so at this point in the cycle, it's very similar to the point in the cycle that took place last year, where you had a dip, right? You hit the 54 simple moving average, you bounced, you hit the bull and bear market support band one more time, you created a new all-time high, right? And that was the November, October months. Look at the price action now. You dip, 54 simple moving average, you pump, you test the bull and bear market support band, and you're on your pump in the October, November months to hopefully new all-time highs. So is a new all-time high going to happen? I don't know if it's going to happen today, but I think it's going to happen likely within this month. You guys know the historical returns of October and November. So it happening this month is just incredibly likely. And when I go to the current market states, so I think that we will see one more leg to the upside. That's, for me, that's pretty set in stone with the current price action. When I look at the macro analysis, I want you to notice that the bull and bear market support band and the 54 simple moving average are still pretty far away from each other. So what will likely happen is Bitcoin experiences one more leg to the upside, cools off. During that cooling off period, these two will catch up, price will fall below, and you enter into, I don't know if it's going to be a temporary bear market or a long-term bear market like the other cycles. That's still a question mark. But for the next 2 to 3 to 4 months, which is the only thing that I can comment about with a high accuracy level, I think that's going to be the case. What's going to happen in the long term? I don't know. Okay, that's very hard to tell. But for the short term or the intermediate term, 2, 3, 4 months, I see this happening, which means that there's going to be one more leg to the upside. I think the 135, 140s, 150s is possible. And then going into Q2 of 2026, I think there's going to be a crash. All right. So that's the long-term expectation for Bitcoin. Pretty simple to analyze. No need to overcomplicate things. When you go into the RSI, which determines if an asset is overvalued or if it's undervalued, I can quickly show you the RSI on this time frame as well. I think it's an important thing to be focusing on. So let's get rid of the brush. Let's have a look at the RSI. The Bitcoin bull markets end always when the RSI for Bitcoin is in the massively overbought region. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, overbought just simply means that an asset is too highly valued. This can be applicable for Bitcoin, for any crypto asset, for a stock, right? It just means that it's pretty much overbought. And every time you enter into that overbought region, it marks the tops for Bitcoin, okay? So at this stage in the market, we've not experienced that level of overboughtness. And it would be very, very abstract and obscure if Bitcoin ended the bull market without hitting the overbought level. So simply to me, simply as a strength and momentum measure, this cannot be the top. Bitcoin cannot end the bull market not being in the overbought range. It is important to note, though, that there is a huge bearish divergence, but you never know when these are going to play out. It's eventually going to play out. I would be careful of this trend line. If we can see this trend line breaking to the upside, then those 150 levels are going to be more and more probable. If we see a rejection, that's concerning. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this Bitcoin RSI pattern, seeing how this resistance holds up. If you can break above it, oh my God, I think we're going to go and do a full send. If we do a full send, then I would likely expect the Bitcoin dominance chart to, I still think that we're going to hit these 60% one more time, final rotation of capital into Bitcoin. And then we're going to see a sharp crash, just like we did a year ago, just like we did in the previous cycle. I think we're going to see a sharp crash, and that's going to be the beginning of altcoin season. But first, asset rotation into Bitcoin, right? As Bitcoin tries to reach a new all-time high, we're only a few $100s away. I will cover the price analysis for Ethereum and some of my favorite altcoins. So first of all, let's start off with BNB, because just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin is almost hitting a new all-time high, but BNB has actually reached a brand new all-time high. Today, we can go to the price action of BNB, and you're going to notice that today we went to $1,160. Brand new all-time high for BNB. If you guys have been watching this channel for, not even for the past 4 years, but if you've been watching this channel since August, I literally uploaded a video, which I'm going to find for you now, because some people sadly don't believe it when I say these things. But if I go to the CryptoKit channel, and if we search the videos together, all right, so let's go videos. This is a very good video, by the way, for anybody that's interested. I would definitely recommend watching this video later on. Let's go back. Should be here somewhere. There it is, 2 months ago. New trade on BNB, Bitcoin breakout soon. So I made this video as BNB was breaking above the inverse head and shoulder, and this target never changed. It was always 1,250. We can try and confirm that. Let's see, Bitcoin analysis, the middle longs, macro patterns. Where is BNB? Hold on, where's the BNB? BNB chart. Okay, did I talk about the targets here? I should have. If not, then it was on another video. I'm gonna find it. I remember I was in Turkey. I was in Istanbul. So then I was in Bodrum. When was I in Istanbul? That was Bodrum. Incredible news. Bodrum, Istanbul. Was it this one? Could be. Okay, look, I can't find it on YouTube. I can assure you it's there somewhere. What I can show you is, because this is easier to search, BNB. The target has always been 1,250. Look, August the 13th, BNB, 1,250. 1,250 has always been the target. And I said, like, okay, this pump is happening, but I'm not going to sell or take profits from my BNB until we see BNB reach 1,250. And that's the strategy. I've been sticking to that plan. I've been sticking to that strategy for as long as I could. And as soon as we do reach 1,250, I'm going to be taking profits, but I'm waiting. I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm sticking to the plan. Can BNB go more? Let's see. But in the short term, I think 1,250 is a good place to be taking profits. By the way, if you want to be participating in an incredible trading competition, you can go to the first link in the description down below. Sign up to weeks. The person that has the highest amount of trading volume is going to walk away today with 100 USDT. The current first place individual only has a $122,000 trading volume. To beat this individual, if you did a $1,000 position on any contract, 10x leverage, no, hold on, that's not going to work. You would have to do a $1,000 position, 100x leverage, open and close, and that's going to give you $200,000 in trading volume, putting you onto the first place spot. So look, if you want to win 100 USDT in the next 23 hours, make sure that you're the first person who has the highest amount of trading volume, and you can sign up to weeks with the first link, join the trading competition to participate and potentially win. With regards to Ethereum, I love the Ethereum chart. We've been buying on weeks since 1.5, 1.6, 2.2. 3.9, 3.3. We've been buying the dip, right? That's all that we've been doing. Okay, I just said on the Moonshow channel that there is a beautiful bull flag that's right now forming on Ethereum. I love how this looks. I think it's going to take us to 5.5 initially, and then into the 7.5 and $8,000 range when the altcoin season time is appropriate. But the key thing to understand as a macro investor is that every single cycle, Bitcoin leads the rally, right? So Bitcoin pumps first, then Ethereum pumps. Bitcoin pumps first, then Ethereum pumps. Bitcoin pumps first, then Ethereum pumps. The only difference is that in this cycle, it's taking longer for Ethereum to pump, and it's just completely due to macroeconomic reasons. So it's not due to this, correlation being non-existent anymore. It's just macroeconomic reasons. So this catch-up, in my opinion, is going to happen. And once this catch-up happens, we're going to be looking at potentially all the way to an $8,000 Ethereum. So as a macro investor, I'm buying as much as I can. If you are a short-term investor, then let's forget about the Bitcoin correlation and look at the facts. The facts are the following. Bitcoin has broken out of this bullish pennant, right? Ethereum is broken out of this bullish pennant. Bullish pennants has a target. Make sure we're not on the log scale. Has a target. Matches up with the Bitcoin correlation at 7.7. You've seen the retest, right? You've seen the retest. We entered at 3.9 because that was the prior resistance, now turns support. So like Ethereum looks fantastic. And from a cycle perspective, I think we're going to moon. So please get ready because I think this is going to happen. If you want to be opening positions on Ethereum, you can go to the weeks link on the first link, and you can literally go ahead and participate in the trading competition and also trade Ethereum like I've been doing so if you wish to do so and support the channel. But yeah, I mean, Ethereum looks great, it looks amazing, super bullish on it for the macro scale. Cardano I really like too. I think Cardano is going to do very well in this cycle, looking up very nice. The only thing to be concerned about for Bitcoin is the Bitcoin CME gap, because these things close, right? These things close 95% of the time, approximately 95% of the time. And if we do see a drop, then like I told you, I'm just going to be buying the dip. But, I'm not shorting. I didn't short Bitcoin. I've not shorted Bitcoin. I keep on buying. It's just that the only thing that I would be considering to do is if Bitcoin was to see this drop, just to have liquidation levels below on your Bitcoin positions, these swing lows. As long as you have that, I think you're going to be fine. And I really do hope that Bitcoin rips to new all-time highs. Like, I'm fully long. But just be careful, because every single time, Bitcoin creates a CME gap, right? And hopefully starting 2026, we're never going to have CME gaps anymore because the CME is going to be 24/7. But every time we have a CME gap, Bitcoin pumps. People are like, oh, but this time it's different. Oh, we'll close it in the bear market. But every single time we end up closing it to the downside. So just be careful. I wouldn't be shorting. I wouldn't be personally, selling because there's a CME gap. But I would just check my liquidation level, make sure that it's below the CME gap, so that if we do see a retracement, you're not caught in positions that can get potentially liquidated. Another thing to be watching out for is the fact that Saturdays, they are always, always, always super unvolatile. So Bitcoin will stop this rally very soon. We could create another CME gap. So if Bitcoin continues pumping in the weekend, there will be another CME gap. But we will likely see choppy price action. We need to be careful that it doesn't turn into a Bart Simpson. But tomorrow is going to be super unvolatile. And I just want to let you guys know because nothing happens on Saturdays, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, AVAX chart doesn't look good, by the way. 4 hourly, AVAX, be careful. All right, AVAX, even though macro I'm bullish, if Bitcoin continues to have a new all-time high, then Bitcoin dominance is going to increase, and short term, large caps can bleed. So please be careful on AVAX. It's possible we dump all the way to $25. Okay, I don't like this chart. If you have AVAX positions, be careful. On Pionex, I do have an AVAX bot, but that bot is going to be buying the dip for me. if I show you the details, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's going to be buying the dip all the way to $26. So be careful. AVAX can correct if we see a break below $29. Okay? So be careful of that. It doesn't look good. Solana, bullish on Solana. Stock market is pumping, very interesting. So today, obviously, the government is still in shutdown. And because it's in shutdown, it can't release certain economic data like the employment data. Because they didn't release the economic data, but we project that the employment data is not good. I mean, it's so strange. You have bad employment, but markets are pumping, you know, it's a bit strange. But that's the state of the market. Guys, I'm so sorry for being a little bit, you know, just not so lively. I'm not being a douchebag. It's just that I've not slept in 16 hours. Today I've walked, let's see. I've walked 12,000 steps. So many coffee, jet lag, you know, so please excuse me, guys. I'm just insanely tired. That's why I'm a bit out of tune. But that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer now as many questions as I can. Then I will probably go sleep, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to survive. So if you have any questions, let me know. And maybe if everybody can wave in the chat for my audience on Instagram, I'm going to put a Instagram story. I have my untidy bed in the background, which is not the best, but okay. Cool. Let me check your questions in a second. Giving you some more time. Karin. Hey, shout out to Karin. How are you? How's everything? I hope everything is fine. Hope your Bitcoin and crypto holdings are doing fine. I'm sure they are. We didn't do our call this week. We need to catch up next week. How does the ADA chart look? We can get into that. ADA chart. ADA chart looks amazing. ADA chart looks fantastic. Look at the short term. Short term, last year this time, you had the same downtrend. In October, November, you pump out of it. You pump 270%. I think the same is going to happen. So I'm buying stupid amounts of Cardano. I'm super bullish on it, like genuinely super bullish on Cardano. And then I'll show you something even more mind-blowing. Go to the Cardano USD charts, go to the weekly time frame, compare this cycle with the last cycle. You're going to be shocked. All right, I'll show you. So look, last cycle, and I did this comparison in summer. So Cardano, huge drop, W formation, right? In June, you see a drop-off, rebound in September, October, and then November, you fly. Drop, W formation. In November, instead of seeing the drop in July, you see it in November. That's okay. You bottom, though, in October/September, and now we should see a drastic pump. It's just fractals and patterns, you know? So if you want to buy Cardano and support the channel, you can do so on Weeks using the link in the description down below, or on Pinex. Future, I'm going to post it in a second. Don't worry. Guys, I'm going to head to sleep, because if I don't think it's going to end well for me. So Bitcoin is chilling. Look, CME gap is there. We're heading into the weekend. So if we don't create an all-time high today, then we'll have to look into next week. But I'm positive that it's going to happen either in October or in November. Ladies and gents, enjoy your Friday evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you live in the world. And I'll see you guys on the CryptoKid update video tomorrow. So take care. And as always, bye-bye.